Today's Morning First Alert Weather Show is brought to you by Sam Bernstein Law.
Well, good Friday morning, Mid-Michigan. I'm First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro here with an update on your First Alert forecast as we look ahead towards the midday hours of this Friday and as we look ahead to the upcoming weekend as well. So we are going to be tracking some more snowfall for our area as we head towards the late morning and the afternoon. We've already had some snow move through earlier this morning as well. There was a little bit of a pause in between these two rounds of snowfall, which actually did see some freezing drizzle fall. The drizzle really wasn't picked up on the radar. It was pretty low in the atmosphere, but that freezing drizzle, any of it that's left, is going to be taken over by this next incoming round of snowfall. I actually want to get you right to this here on the First Alert Pinpoint Doppler. So if you do have any plans for the midday hours today, maybe you have some Friday lunch plans with some friends, or maybe you have some errands to run here towards the middle of the day, well, we do have this next round of snowfall starting to move in. First Alert Pinpoint Doppler is already showing the snow falling in areas like Clare and Harrison, Rosebush. Mount Pleasant, we do have ground reports there in Mount Pleasant confirming that snow is falling. Even in Elma right now, we have reports of light snow falling there too. So pretty much from here, we are going to see more of the snow just continuing to move in from the west. And for any of you tuning in, especially on Facebook, I am live monitoring the comments on the Facebook live stream too. Put a little comment in there, report what you're seeing and where you're at, especially if you are towards the central Michigan region right now. Well, we do have that snow coming in from the west side of the state. And I'll go ahead and move out the radar just a little bit more too, just to show you that there is more development right now, especially in southwestern Michigan. So a lot of these places like Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids and Lansing and Portland that are all seeing some of the snow right now, this will continue to pivot into our area. Some of those heavier bands of snow that we have right now north of Kalamazoo, that's heading at least on a trajectory towards our southern areas like Owasso, Flint, and Lapeer. So that snow is expected to move in as we head towards lunch today, and then again sticking with us as we go into the early afternoon. The First Alert hour by hour actually paints this picture pretty well too. So I'll fast forward this especially towards 1 this afternoon. You see the snow sticking with us here on a pretty widespread basis even during the early afternoon. Some of the snow in this image here, the hour by hour, that's especially over towards Lake Huron, that's some of that snow that's actually currently south of Grand Rapids. So again, continuing that eastward trek. As we go towards 4 this afternoon, though, we do expect the coverage of snow showers to start to break up. And I do want to make sort of an important distinction here with this. So even at 4 or 5 or 6 for your evening commute, if you do travel at that time coming home from work, you will still have some snow showers around. It won't be quite the same extent as what we're going to see within the next couple of hours here, but even during that evening commute time, we are expecting some isolated or even scattered snow showers to still be sort of lingering here in our area. Eventually into the evening, some more isolated snow showers still sticking with us. And then once we go into the middle of tonight, we are expecting a few more snow showers as well. The coverage for any snow showers tonight should be a little bit more limited for us though too. I do want to take you to our snow totals though for today before we talk a little bit more about the weekend here. We are expecting by 7 o'clock this evening, so that's the time that we're cutting this off here on the map just because we still expect some additional lake effect for tonight, but these numbers on your screen here are not going to reflect any of the snow that's picked up tonight. But by 7 o'clock this evening, we do expect about 2 to 5 inches of snow from Clare to Pinconning and anywhere north of there. So that's the light blue highlight on the map. That does include what fell earlier this morning at about 4, 5, and 6 a.m. And I will say out of all areas here in mid-Michigan, Houghton Lake, West Branch, Whittemore, a lot of those northern areas did see the most snow from that morning round earlier today. Some of those areas picking up at least an inch, even some isolated 2-inch totals there in some of our northernmost spots as well. So the totals again here on your screen right now, that does include what fell earlier this morning. 1 to 3 inches of snow for the Tri-Cities here, also around Mount Pleasant, Alma, south towards Flint, and then all across the thumb. Could have a couple of isolated pockets of 4-inch totals as well. That is a lower end chance though, so that's why we're just highlighting that as an isolated chance of 4 inches. I do think realistically here at the end of the daytime today, as we go into the evening, so towards 7 o'clock for our snowfall map, I would say about 2 to 3 inches of snow is going to be a pretty good number for what the majority of us are going to have here across our area. I think that'll be a pretty common snow total that we'll see by the end of the daytime today. Now the snow that's fell this morning, especially with cooler temps, it's still only about 21 degrees right now, has been more of a fluffy snow. And that's what we expect even with this next round that's on the way for the late morning and the afternoon. Because temperatures right now are not flirting with freezing, it's not expected to be a very wet and slushy snow. It should be a little bit lighter and have some fluffiness to it too. So it should be an easy snow to clean up later on this evening. So maybe you're planning on doing that, letting the system pass by. We should have about an hour or two of sunlight before the end of the day, where things really start to quiet down. So if you wanted to try to get outside and clean the driveway up real quick before the upcoming evening. But as far as we go forward here with our temperatures too, and this is something that's a little bit interesting for today with our temperatures, because we do expect a high for today of about 31 degrees, but that high temp comes in a little bit closer to the evening today. I'll actually bring our graphics back up here. You notice this, even during the early afternoon, noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, at that time, a lot of temps still in the mid-20s. We actually don't really see the high temp for today, technically, until this upcoming evening. We're talking about 8 or 9 o'clock this evening. We should see those highs up to about 31, maybe 32 for a couple of spots. Temperatures will kind of steadily play out into tomorrow morning. We'll be back down to about 25 by tomorrow morning. And then for tomorrow, temperatures actually just sort of stagnate like that. So 26 for much of the daytime tomorrow, and then eventually those temps will start that downward trend, especially as we head towards the beginning of next week. So just know that the snow that we still have coming for the next couple of hours here, that's going to be a fluffier snow because temps will still be holding on to the 20s for now. Looks like we do have a couple of comments here coming in on the Facebook live stream though. So Celia in Alma saying Alma is windy, very light snow right now. Thank you for the report. Jerry saying Bay City, nothing yet and nothing last night. Thank you for the report, Jerry. And let me go ahead and pull up the radar again just to show you for Bay City too that we do eventually have some snow back on the way here for Bay City. So you see this on the First Alert Pinpoint Doppler. Some light snow that's currently been falling, especially around Mount Pleasant and Alma, like Celia has reported. We do have more of that snow on the way, so in Bay City, eventually you are going to see a little bit more snow here. Good morning, Sheila, and Cherry Hetrick in Gladwin saying Gladwin has very light snow right now. So again, I'll take you back to the radar there too. Certainly does look like we have a couple of these light snow showers moving through Gladwin. Some of that snow that just moved through Clare is also heading towards Gladwin. So Cherry, you will have more snow on the way. You should see that snow rate picking up probably within about 30 minutes from now. But again, pretty much going forward from here, we just have more snow that takes us right through the middle of the day, and those temps holding on to the mid-20s for the afternoon before we eventually see those temps up to about 31 degrees for a couple of hours as we go into the upcoming evening. And Zoe reporting Alma, not snowing where I am, but just really windy. I'll actually go ahead and take a look at the wind here too real quick. So give me just a second to pull up that wind graphic. We are expecting more of a southerly or even a southwest wind. It's definitely what we're seeing here on the map too. So we do have what I'd almost call a south-southwest wind. This is at about 10 to 15 miles per hour sustained. We do expect some gusts today to reach up to about 25 miles per hour. So it's sort of this wind pattern that we have currently that's allowing those temps to eventually reach up to the low 30s for a couple of hours this upcoming evening. Nancy asking, any more freezing rain? Nancy, I think the good news here is that at this point we are going to be done with any sort of freezing rain from here on out, especially as this next round of snowfall moves in. So there we are on the radar again. we have that snow coming in from the west side of the state. So any sort of freezing rain or freezing drizzle that's left, that should be able to really be overtaken by the snow at this point. So I would say that we're going to be pretty much done with that freezing drizzle from here on out. And then Charlotte, hope I'm saying that right. Charlotte saying hi from Miss Sheets science class. Hello. So I hope you all are having a great Friday so far. But from here, we are still tracking some more snow showers even as we go into the weekend. Now, by the weekend, it's just more lake effect snow showers for our area. And then really the big story from here is that our weather is going to be getting even colder. So that's something that we will talk about real shortly here. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back from the break, we'll talk a little bit more about that extended forecast. Alrighty, welcome back from that break. So as I was mentioning just before the break, we are still tracking some lake effect snow showers as we go into the weekend, and the next week we have some colder weather on the way. One thing I do want to show you though before we start talking about the weekend is just those snow totals one last time. This is for today, and this does include what fell earlier this morning and then more of what we have on the way for the late morning and the early afternoon here. So we do expect, I would say again on average, about 2 to 3 inches for the majority of our area as we approach this upcoming evening. Now for the weekend here, we'll take you through the hour by hour. Let me jump this ahead here towards tonight and then tomorrow morning. So there we are on your screen. That's about 5 in the morning tomorrow. I do think some of us will be waking up to a couple of snow showers early tomorrow morning. Better chance for that more than likely up towards our northern areas. Some places like Houghton Lake or Harrison or West Branch. This is fast forwarding towards noon tomorrow as well. We still do have some lake effect coming in from the west side of the state, and then more of those snow showers just sort of streaming through here even during the afternoon. But of course, with it being lake effect, the nature of that, it's going to be a little more hit or miss for our area. So I think the best way to put it for tomorrow is that it won't be snowing at all times of the day, but there is some potential for a snow shower for your area at pretty much any time of the day. So that potential at least doesn't go away. Now once we go into Sunday, this is where we still have some more lake effect. We're still just kind of stuck under more of that westerly wind direction. Now one thing we're potentially seeing here towards the end of Sunday and going into Sunday night, so notice how the coverage of snow picks up a little bit more. That on your screen is at about 8 o'clock in the evening on Sunday. That right there is where we could end up seeing the snowfall becoming scattered a little bit better across our area. So sort of a very vaguely defined system right at the end of the weekend and as we go into Monday morning. So I do want to give you the first alert to that, is that Monday morning you could wake up to some more fresh snow on your roadways, especially too. So it's just something to bear in mind for the end of the weekend or the beginning of next work week there. So really, again, the long-term pattern here is just supporting the fact that we are going to have more cold weather on the way. Here's that 7-day forecast. Take a look at these temperatures here. So if you thought yesterday was cold, which no doubt yesterday was cold, we expect even colder weather as we go into next week. So by Monday, we only have a high of 15 degrees there on MLK Day, 11 degrees for the high on Tuesday, Now we're briefly back up to about 21 on Wednesday, but then 18 on Thursday, and the long-term trends are still supporting temperatures like this by Friday and potentially even into next weekend as well. So definitely kind of going into the deep freeze here for next week. Constantly below freezing, which for ice fishers, that's great news because we'll start to build some ice back up again. But from a safety aspect for next week with the cold weather, this is going to be some of the coldest weather that we've had this winter so far, especially on more of this prolonged basis like this for an entire week. Next week is definitely going to be the week to just make sure you have your heaviest jacket and hat and your heaviest gloves all ready to go, because you will be needing that for every day. And students, for your bus stops too next week, those are going to be cold. We're talking wind chills that are sub-zero basically every single morning, and even by the afternoon we'd be lucky to see wind chills that are not in the single digits. So overall, just staying pretty cold as we go into next week. On MLK Day on Monday too, we do expect some wind to be able to pick up. Some of those gusts could approach 30 to 35 miles per hour, so particularly looking at a little bit of a windy day there too. But overall, again, just cold weather on the way here in the extended forecast. But if you love winter, definitely something to look forward to, because it does mean these wintry conditions and the snow will be sticking around. On Wednesday, we have some light snow as well. So that's a system, of course, that's still almost a week out from now, but we have seen some decent agreement on another system moving through on Wednesday that should bring some accumulating snowfall with it. So just again, be ready for the cold weather, because that is going to be sticking around for the foreseeable future here. But statistically, this time in January, we're starting to approach the coldest time of the year. So this is pretty much to be expected at this time of year. Our average high temperature today, at least climatologically, is 29 degrees. So that's where we normally would be. Again, 29 is pretty much at the bottom of that curve for our average high temperatures for the year. So again, we're heading right now into that coldest time. By the beginning of February is technically when we start to see those numbers just slowly creeping up again. So again, pretty cold here as we go throughout the next week at the very least. Looking through a couple of comments here too, we have Sam reporting no snow in Merrill. Actually go ahead and pull the radar back up for you too, just for anyone who has maybe tuned in the last minute or two. We do have more snow on the way for the late morning and as we go into the afternoon. So actually Merrill, one of those spots, looks like the snow is already getting close to there. Even if it isn't snowing in Merrill yet, it should be picking up pretty soon. Definitely within the hour. There we are, Merrill, right towards the county line. If you don't have light snow falling there yet, should pick up probably in about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes too. So more of the snow is just going to continue to move in here from the west side of the state. That's about all we have for you in our forecast for now. And actually, real quick, before we go, I do want to show you the traffic map too. Looks like we do have some slower travel starting to develop around Gladwin, at least in spots, also around Edenville, Coleman, and Clare right now. So if you do have any travel, again, that's going to be one of the key takeaways with the snow moving in here too. Perhaps if you just have some midday plans, or maybe you have some errands that you have to run for the afternoon, I would expect some slicker areas. So just plan on it taking a little bit longer to run some of those errands later today. And you can actually kind of see where this is lining up nicely on the traffic map, where we have the snow falling towards Clare and Gladwin, some yellow popping up on the map reflecting some of those slick areas. But right now in Saginaw, where things are still pretty quiet, drive times are doing totally fine for now. So again, just if you have any errands to run for the afternoon, if you have any travel here, just make sure that you are taking it easy, because again, for the afternoon, it's just going to take a bit longer than it normally would. By the end of the day here, we should have a couple of fresh inches of snow that we'll need to clear off of the sidewalks and the driveways. But coming up at noon today, First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips will have the forecast on air on TV5. And then First Alert meteorologist Stone Schaefer will have another First Alert weather show coming up at 2 this afternoon. So that'll be a live stream on all of these same channels that you're watching right now. So be sure to tune in to Diane at noon and then Stone at 2 o'clock later today. But in the meantime, hope that you have a great remainder of your Friday morning, and we hope that you have a great weekend ahead as well. And drive safe if you have anywhere to go later today.